guys? Sorry for the delay, like I was mentioning. Just give me one sec here to get. I have a bit of a deadline I'm trying to hit today, and I was working right up to the last second there, and then suddenly realized the time. So let me just, I haven't even posted the ad on Instagram yet. Just give me a second. There we go. Alright, also by the way, if you guys are talking to me right now, I don't know if it's going to show up in the chat, because I didn't have the app open. It'll be open in a second. There we go. Oh, looks like we got some new follows here by RT Mama. I think that one's new. And Foregathers. Hello, hello. I don't know if you're watching at the moment, but welcome. Okay, give me one more second here. Hey Billy, hey Chantel, and hey Mark. Okay. So disorganized. Oh shit, I don't have my paper handy. One more second and we'll get started here, guys. Okay. Well, hi, Mark. Okay. Back for real now. I've been working on the horror comic that I did the cover for last week. I finished doing all the art this morning, and been trying to get all the text together. If I don't get it submitted this month, I run the risk of it not going live by Halloween. And it went live shortly after Halloween last year, which was really frustrating for me, so I'm trying not to let that happen again. And I'm going to my parents for the weekend, so I need to make sure to get it done by tomorrow. I inked 8 comic book pages yesterday. 8 of them, which might be a new record for me. I'm not sure, but I think it might be. So yeah, I was working on that, and then I was like, shit, it's 8:30. I thought I would get all the lettering done with time to spare today, actually, and I was wrong. But here we are, and ironically, I'm doing another horror-themed one. It's not going to be a particularly scary image, though. It'll be more of a fun image, really. I watched the movie Final Girls a couple weeks ago, which is kind of a horror comedy about a girl whose mom played was an actress, played one of the victims in a horror movie back in the 80s, and then dies in a car accident when the kid's like 12 or something like that. And so then she goes to a special screening of that horror movie years later and gets magically pulled into the theater or into the movie with all of her friends, where she gets to meet her mom's character as if she's a real. It's like super meta, but really fun. And while I was watching that, let's move this down here. It gave me the idea to design my own Final Girl. So that's what I'm gonna do. I have some vague ideas in mind, but that's about it so far. So let's let's draw her. Okay, I'm gonna make it some. Basically, what I did, I looked up top 10 Final Girls of all time, And I have that over here, printed out for reference. I'm not going to do a direct amalgam, but I thought I'd have them here for reference. So here we have Laurie Strode from Halloween, which is Jamie Lee Curtis. Julie James, that's Jennifer Love Hewitt from I Know What You Did Last Summer. Susie Bannion from Suspiria. Ginny Field from Friday the 13th Part 2. Alice Hardy from the original Friday the 13th. Sally Hardesty from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street. Alan Ripley, of course, from Alien. Aaron Harson from You're Next, which is by far the most recent one on the list. And Sidney Prescott from Scream. So, like I said, I'm not doing a full-on amalgam, but I got them there for inspiration. So let's do it. How's everybody doing tonight? Wow, almost 15 minutes in, I haven't started drawing yet. It's crazy. That might be a first. Those characters range, and movies range from the late 70s all the way into the mid 2000s. So I'm thinking 80s or 90s era with this final draw. Smoking yourself out. Did you get to do a campfire today, Chantal? Oh, that's what you mean by... Gotcha. By the way, because of your comments yesterday, I did turn up the music a little bit. Did you notice the difference? Something stuck to the page or something. I assumed you didn't mean toking up. Never struck me as the toking type, Chantal. I'm also not the toking type, yet everyone thinks I am. Every time I smell skunk outside, I have that moment. Am I smelling skunk or am I smelling weed? Billy and Mark were here moments ago, but they haven't said a word. You guys still there? By the way, you might be thinking this is a very Halloween-y kind of drawing. I was actually thinking more summery drawing, because I'm thinking more Friday the 13th type Final Girl, so kind of like summer camp vibes. Cool, cool. What game you playing, Billy? I'm not 100% committed to this, but I think she's going to be holding an axe. But I don't think she can be holding it quite like that. Let's make some adjustments. What foxes were that? I haven't been on Discord much today. I think I popped in just in time to see JC's smartass comment when you ratted me out on the airbender thing. Surviving Mars. I think I know that one, Billy. Which isn't a huge shocker. I don't know all my games. Okay, that sounds cool. Okay. At first I read that as 2 in my eyes. I was very confused. Okay, guys, I have a very important opinion question for you on this character. Jeans or jean cutoffs? I have both in my mind. I can't decide which one I want to do. Like I said, I'm going for kind of a summer camp vibe, so I feel like the cutoffs make more sense, though. Maybe I just answered my own question by saying that, in fact. If I like that arm pose or not. I think I'll go more. It's kind of a hero pose, so maybe I'll have her a bit more. Maybe? I don't know. Cutoffs are the most impractical? That is true. Well, true, but the things happening. I feel like there could be an argument too, because I feel like jeans can be kind of restrictive, and it's not like the jeans are going to stop a knife, you know? Still mixed feelings in that arm. I'm thinking she'd rub on her head because she's been through a lot. It's kind of my thinking here. But I don't know. And then when I do the hand on the hip, I like the idea most, but you can't see it too well at this angle. Maybe I should do this, but just emphasize it a bit more. Maybe that's what it needs. Could very well be that kind of. Or I thought about even like wiping sweat from her brow. I thought about that, maybe. Maybe that makes the most sense. that. Not too bad. Maybe. Oh yeah? That was nice of them. That looks weird. It's just not quite settling on this arm. I gotta figure that out so I know what the hell to do with her hair. You know what? I think I'm gonna just go with that original one. At least for now. I might change my mind again, but for now, it's good. So I'm not directly basing her on anybody, but like I said, I do have some reference off to the side for inspiration. The shape of her face is definitely a bit of Jamie Lee Curtis, a little bit sharper edge, but up there. And quite a few of these classic Final Girls have bangs, so I'm gonna do some bangs for sure. It's not bad. I feel like that's pretty 80s without being obnoxious about it. Has anybody here seen Lock and Key on Netflix? It's good. I recommend it. Reason I bring it up though is the one complaint I have about it. I just thought of. There's a character in it that is a big movie buff, especially horror movies, and he wants to make a horror movie of his own. And they're watching, I think it's a fictional, made-up horror movie for the movie. I don't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. And he's like criticizing it as they watch. And he says, and he doesn't like the final girl in it. And he's criticizing her. And he says, and he's complaining about her because she hides from the monster. And he's like, on a scale of 1 to Jamie Lee Curtis, implying that Jamie is the best final girl, I would rank her a 2 because a true final girl would never hide from the monster. And that drove me insane and made me think this has been written by someone that is pretending to be a horror buff but actually knows nothing, because Jamie Lee Curtis, who he apparently believes to be the best, spends most of the third act of the movie hiding in a closet. So who he deems as the number 1 final girl is completely guilty of what he claims a good final girl would never do. And that, as a movie nerd myself, kind of made me a bit crazy. I'll forgive it. I'll let it go. But I'm just saying, kind of annoyed me. But I did like the show, and I am excited for the new season, which was quite delayed thanks to COVID, so kids will definitely be notably older. I haven't read the books. I want to read the book, especially after watching the show. I think I've heard that it's fairly different, but I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure. I might have heard that wrong, and I wouldn't be able to speak to whether or not it's accurate. Written by Stephen King's son. posted this before on the stream or not, but there's an artist named Sweeney Boo, or goes by Sweeney Boo anyway. I assume that's not really her name. Follow her on Instagram. She's worked on a bunch of comics and stuff. Really cool style. Really tends to embellish the sizes and details of the shoes and stuff, and I feel like she's kind of rubbing off on me a little bit. Because I've been doing the big meaty shoe treads quite a bit lately. You know what? I think I like it. I'm liking this. I even like the arm pose. Anybody want to guess what she's got her foot up on? Which name, Parker? Also, hi, Parker. Oh, what I'm doing down here? Just wait and see. I'm asking if anybody wants to guess. Right now I haven't done much yet. But what name are you asking about? I haven't assigned her a name, but she's a horror final girl. Or an homage to all horror final girls, I guess. Oh, the Instagram artist. Sweeney Boo. Not a lot. I was kind of explaining the origin of what I'm drawing, why I decided to do a Final Girl design. Because I watched the movie Final Girls, which is a horror comedy. And I thought it'd be fun just to kind of design my own. It's kind of a tribute to all of the classic Final Girls. That was the main thing. Went off on a bit of a rant. I started late a little bit today because I was in a panic to try to finish my horror comic, which is still not done, but I was trying to at least get a bit farther on it. And then I was like, oh shit, it's 8:30. The time has come. Also, because I've been so focused on that, and I had classes today as well, I haven't been on Discord much. I noticed that you sent me something, Mark, for the Tinkerbell idea you had, but I haven't had a chance to actually look at what you sent yet. I didn't even know you had said don't no rush on it because I hadn't looked at it at all yet. I saw the notification come up from you and it said Tinkerbell and I remembered, so I kind of put two and two together about what it was about. But I haven't been able to look at it past then yet. Glad to have a week 9 break, Mark. Final Girl is the surviving character of a horror movie. Which I think it started with Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, and then it kind of became the trope. It would usually be one of the female leads that would be the survivor at the end of it, and it kind of became a trope. Not Jason specifically, but Jason-esque. So I'm purposely not showing the face since this is an original Final Girl. But there's some claws that aren't exactly like Freddy's, but implies some Freddiness. And I'm probably going to throw at least one more homage. In there. I'll give you a rundown of the inspiration a little bit more. So, well, okay, I'll explain the movie again. So there's a movie called Final Girls, The Final Girls, which I recently watched. It's on Netflix. It's pretty good. And it's about a girl whose mom starred in a slasher movie in the 80s and then died in a car accident when she was a teenager, like when the daughter was a teenager or even younger than a teenager. And then a few years later, she goes to a screening of the movie and gets magically pulled into the movie, where she gets to meet her mom for the first time in years. But it's her mom's character, not her. And it's super meta, has a surprising amount of heart, horror comedy, very fun. Definitely recommend. And while I was watching it, you know, they're parodying all these different horror movies and talking a lot about Final Girls. And I just thought it'd be fun. I was kind of like, you know, I'm gonna make my own Final Girl. I'm gonna do my own little homage. So that's where this character came from. So I'm thinking kind of 80s, 90s era. It's kind of where mostly 80s, which is where the hair comes from. Thinking summer camp counselor kind of thing. That's where the shorts came from. The shirt is very much like Jamie Lee Curtis' shirt with the ripped shoulder and things like that. She got the axe as well. She did. All of them did. Here. I printed off these I'm not directly referencing them, but these are kind of what I looked up for inspiration. I looked up top 10 horror Final Girls. So I got Laurie Strode from Halloween, Julie James from I Know You Did Last Summer, Susie Bannion from Suspiria, Ginny Field from Friday the 13th Part 2, Alice Hardy from Friday the 13th Part 1, Sally Hardesty from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street, Ellen Ripley from Alien, Aaron Harson from You're Next, which is by far the most recent, and Sidney Prescott from Scream. This is true. Also, getting that reference, looking all those up to make my my ad, gave me an idea for a set. I'm gonna do a whole set of the actual Final Girls. I'm not gonna draw it on the stream though, because I want to do all 10 of them, and I don't want to spend 10 consecutive weeks working on it. So I'll just do them on my own and I'll post them when they're done. But I thought that'd be fun. It's kind of almost what I just said. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Alright, I think we can start inking it. Nice. Exactly, Mark. Exactly. Well, I mean, Halloween did have Loomis. Donald Pleasant still survive at the end. Scream had a couple ones that did eventually die in the sequel. Same thing with Loomis. But the lead, the main survivor, the one that actually gets through the shit, is always a girl. Okay, there you go. Evil Dead's a good one, actually. Well, Friday the 13th before Deep Cut. Cool, cool. I still haven't decided if I'm going to do my Shocktober thing again this year. I want to in some respects, but I also know that I'm going to be um, waist deep in a project at that point. I don't know if I want to try to juggle the two. Very conflicted on it. Last year, I had only just finished that combat very short, and my heart was only half in to the thing when I was doing it. I love Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods has both, but it's still the girl's still like the real badass. Because in the other one, the other guy you think is dead too for a long time, don't you? And what part of the point of that was subverting the horror tropes. I get that. I find sometimes I try to commit myself to doing a simpler thing, and then once I start, I'll start putting detail into an area, and then I have to keep it up to keep it consistent. Yeah. I was actually talking about that one recently, yeah. And by the end of it, the girls have like overtaken it and stuff. I don't remember ever feeling like it was too long, and that is something I often complain about with movies, I find. But it's been a few years since I've seen it. Something I loved about Cabin in the Woods is I kind of feel like it, to me, it always kind of delivers what you're gonna kind of hope from it. Like they establish all these monsters in all these their little cubes and stuff, and you kind of think it'd be cool if these all got let out, and then sure enough they do. And maybe that technically makes it predictable, but it's also like that's kind of the payoff you want, though. Yeah. Maybe you need a camp counselor like whoever the hell this character is, Chantal. You know, actually, last week we were talking about, or I guess it was Tuesday, talking about really good opening scenes. I think the opening scene of Cabin in the Woods is great because it doesn't feel like what you expect, and it doesn't give you any context. So there's even a moment where you walked into the wrong movie, and then it hits you with a jump scare with the title when it comes up. By the way, the keyword for the music tonight was summer. Almost went horror, but I thought summer would also apply. And it might be a little bit more different than what we've heard lately. Mascara running a little bit here. No. Not at all, Parker. I think I've asked you before, Parker, but I don't remember. When you say you're doing research and stuff for um, your Inktober, are you, or your Halloween rather, is it figuring out what your list is going to be, or is it kind of doing concept sketches and stuff? Cool. So Parker's doing concept art for Hallow Inc. Billy's building a colony for Mars. Chantel's committing arson. A pretty well-rounded group of activities going on tonight, sounds of it. Hey Mars, how you doing? You're a horror fan, I think, right Mars? Committing arson, Chantel. Horror. Do I have the music too loud? I turned the music up a bit today. But Mars, I specifically remember us, or you kind of smugly talking about how unscary movies like The Conjuring were and stuff. I thought it was because you liked horror. I mean, I'm not saying it's your favorite genre, but I thought you liked it. See, not a lot of horror movies scare me either, but I still enjoy them. But, okay, fair enough. What is the latest in the Barbie movie, by the way? I feel like, hasn't there been like a ton of drama behind that? Like, it was supposed to be Amy Schumer for a while, right? And then didn't that fall apart or something? And wasn't Margot Robbie attached to it as well? At one point? Maybe currently? I know they've been talking about it for a while. If it works, it works, Chantel. Are you able to do this right in the backyard where you're staying, Chantel, or do you have to like go somewhere, like to a park or something, to do the fire in a pit? Oh wait, are you talking about the animated ones, Mars? Oh, that's cool. Okay, I was talking about the live action one. They've been threatening to do it for a while, but it hasn't come to fruition. I haven't watched any of the animated ones. Thanks, Parker. Yeah, but that's the thing. I think the live action one's gonna be like a comedic version of it. I think one version is like a Barbie doll comes to life or something like that. I don't remember what exactly the approach is, and even if I'm right about that, I don't know if that's still the approach they're talking about. Because I'm pretty sure, like I said, I think Amy Schumer was involved, but isn't anymore. And I think Margot Robbie was involved at one point and might still be, but I'm not sure. Well, I still haven't watched Airbender. It's been on my list for a long time, so I can't give too much of an informed opinion of it. The movie sucked. I've of course heard nothing but good things about the show. Chantel and JC were giving me shit for it earlier. Although that character I didn't recognize, I would have known was from Airbender if his face wasn't mashed up against the window like that. Because I have seen clips and images from it. The thing with the Netflix one is it seemed like it had promise because the original creators were involved. But apparently the creators left over creative differences with Netflix, and that can't be a good sign. So, I don't know. I won't watch the new one until I've watched the cartoon, though. I haven't seen Evolution. I kind of want to say Evolution's probably the worst movie, but considering how well respected Airbender is, it might just have stung a lot more that the movie sucked so bad. Yeah, that's a good sign for sure. Well, but like I said, I think it's supposed to be like the doll come to life, though. I don't know if it's gonna be like the actual life of Barbie, like like the animated ones are necessarily. Kind of, I think actually, yeah. But I might be remembering that wrong, or even if I'm right, that idea might have changed since I last heard anything about it. I agree, Mars. I think, but I feel like there may be, especially if Amy Schumer was at one point attached, I feel like they're maybe going for a slightly older audience that'll almost be kind of more of a tongue-in-cheek thing about it for everybody that grew up with Barbie. I think that might be what they're thinking. But I think definitely if they're going more for kids, it would make sense just to put more money into a bigger budgeted animated one probably if they want to kind of up the ante. Yeah, but maybe watching it with a bit more tongue in cheek, because with the animated ones, it's maybe purely nostalgia. The other ones might take kind of like Toy Story does, where you're kind of poking fun at the little idiosyncrasies of playing with that toy or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. I never played with Barbie either, so I don't might even get the jokes, even if that's what they're going for. But I feel like it might be a lot of jokes about anatomy, stuff like that. The things she has, the things she doesn't have, her lack of mobility, all that kind of stuff, her top heaviness. Actually, now that I say that, I think one of the things I heard was that they were going to tackle like body image as a theme, which I think is a good theme to tackle. Whether or not it has to be with Barbie, I don't know. Yeah, sure, you could take that kind of opportunity as well, for sure. Really, a Barbie YouTube series covered that, Billy? Okay. You joined the Discord, I think, right, Mars? Cool, cool. No, both. Oh, holy shit. Worlds are colliding here. We have both Marses. Mars? Mars. Mars? Mars. Okay. 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 They're gonna need to fight it out to find out. For your reference, Parker, Marzi is part of our OG group, recently making a comeback from when I first started streaming. She came in with Aaron and Lumi and all them while they were still in Foundation. And at the time, just to make things confusing, her screen name was Marzipan also. But Marzipan Blue is a newer Foundation entry, currently in Term 3. We'll have to ask Marzi and Marzipan about that. Oh, by the way, Marzi will say, did you watch What If? Anybody watch What If? What'd you think? romance a bit more flair. I could see that. I liked it. I thought it was really fun. I kind of spoiler warning, by the way, for what I kind of wish that Steve wasn't in it that much. Okay, I won't get too deep into it then, Marzipan. I didn't have a problem with, I think, what you're referring to, Marzi. But no, I thought some of the other stuff was unnecessary, and I kind of wish Captain Carter got a bit more focus because of that. But I did like it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I still wish the animation maybe had a bit more of a creative look instead of kind of just a slightly stylized version of the actors and stuff. But that aside, I thought the animation was really well done, especially for the action. Yeah, I won't argue with that, although it was a 30-minute episode compared to a 2-hour movie, I guess, but still. I gotta be creative with my ankles here because my hand's getting so sweaty, in case you were wondering. I mean, I know I draw upside down a lot anyway, but... Yeah. I was impressed with the voice cast as well. They didn't get all of the original people back, but they got a lot of them. And I really liked Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. Loved Loki. I think it was my favorite of their series so far. You haven't seen the last episode yet? I was thinking that more. Still watch it though, Mars, for sure. For sure. That's my thing with the. I mean, I'm a fan, so I wouldn't want to wait too long, but I kind of like it. It's probably what's good about it being a weekly thing instead of all at once too, because I can. If I'll drop it once, I'd be waiting for the opportunity to binge it, and while I was waiting, I'd probably get it all spoiled. But I can handle an episode a week, usually. I think the music just paused. One sec. Oof. Ugh. Oh, bump the camera. Good stuff. Failed me again, YouTube. Ugh. Hands are getting so sweaty. There is something kind of cool about it, for sure. I think that one thing, I don't know, I'm appreciating the benefits of doing it weekly again now that I have no choice. But one of the things I didn't miss about not having cable anymore was the shows that I was into. I almost felt like a slave to. I was like, oh, gotta watch this tonight, and I was excited to watch the show, but I didn't want to have to plan my night around it, you know? And then it had been a long time since I had that feeling. But it has also been fun being able to talk about these shows as they come out with everybody. Yeah, that is cool. It gets us talking, all of us. And the fear of spoilers keeps everybody, like, kind of in line with one another as well. Rusty axe. bloody rusty axe, of course. Yeah, totally. I think that actually hurt the show a bit. Like, I loved WandaVision, but like, people were so obsessed with their theories and throwing them around so rampantly that when some of those theories didn't come true, I feel like people were like, "Oh, they fucked up because they didn't do this," and I was like, "No, they never promised that. They had no obligation to do that. That was just what you thought was going to happen, and they surprised you, and that's not a bad thing. You shouldn't be hoping for a show to be predictable." Definitely. Um, did you hate it story-wise, Mars, or you just like hated the way that it was done, or? Oh yeah, no, I get that. I don't know if it was like that they abandoned it, like they had to get there eventually to explain what was going on. But I thought they could have integrated, because I guess that last episode was the only one that didn't have any of the TV stuff, right? Well, apparently like a whole subplot was cut out of Falcon and Winter Soldier. The rumor is it involved a virus being released by the antagonist, and they wanted to cut it out because of COVID. Which, if true, I have very mixed feelings about. Because on the one hand, I get it, but on the other hand, at some point, COVID hopefully is going to be kind of just a memory, but people will still be watching that show, you know? And I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I definitely had some issues with it. And most of it was pacing related and stuff, and I gotta wonder if what was cut out of it might have made a big difference that way. No, I like that. Well, I mean, I don't think they completely abandoned that though. What makes you say you're biased about that though, Mars? Do you mean with the Easter eggs and the sound effects and stuff, you mean, Mars? Yeah, me too, Mars, for sure. And also, like, I'm okay that it didn't go that way, but I think I was just so convinced it was going to happen that it kind of ruined the experience a little bit. I wouldn't even put it that way, Parker. I think they've all been pretty good. Like, I wouldn't put it like, oh, they were okay, they could have been worse. Like, I think they've all been pretty solid, all things considered. Okay. It's crazy, by the way, that Loki ended up being my favorite. It was the one I was. Well, okay, the trailer did get me excited. I thought the trailer looked really good, but initially, when I first heard about it, it was the one I was probably the least interested in. Because I like Loki. I like or not Tom Hiddleston as Loki, but I never had quite the same fandom for him as a lot of people seem to have. Wow. Was it Owen Wilson that got me excited, you mean? Owen Wilson's a pretty good actor in general, but I was surprised to see him even cast in the first place. But I mean, a lot of the Marvel actors are kind of known for their comedy, though, as well, I guess. Yeah, they're really good together. He's actually, because he hasn't, like, there was a while there where he was in like a ton of stuff, and lately he hasn't been in much. So it's the first time I've seen him with white hair and stuff. I gotta say, was kind of disappointed we didn't get more of a payoff for the jet ski stuff. There might be plans for that in the future still, but I thought for sure we were gonna learn something there. or see something. Jet skis. Oh, did they really? What made them change that? Okay, Mark, thanks for coming by. See you next time. Oh, is that what it is? They had to stop shooting? Well, they were always planning a second season, weren't they? Oh, maybe. Honestly, I hope they do save it for the next season of Loki, though, because we were talking before about necessary viewing. Like, if they tie them so close, like, I'm already worried that Doctor Strange won't make sense for anybody that didn't sit through Loki. And if it's got Owen Wilson in it in a significant capacity, that might also confuse people. So, as a fan, I love all the interconnectedness, but you kind of need those casual viewers if we want to keep these shows going. When I color this, I'm probably going to add a lot more in the way of blood. I'm just going to imply a little bit with ink, and then I'm going to probably go pretty crazy with the blood later. Yeah, very much looking forward to that. No, definitely not for Wanda, but it will be for next Captain America movie though. And they all interconnect in some way, shape, or form, right? So like, one might not directly connect to this other one, but that one might directly connect to another one. So you need to have that also connects to, like, it's a whole thing, right? Yeah. Doctor Strange is gonna be pretty crazy. Pretty excited for that, especially with Sam Raimi directing it. Yeah, I've had the same thing because I feel like my parents might get into WandaVision, especially because they get all the references for the TV shows and stuff, and like they've seen most of the Marvel movies. My dad still hasn't seen the most recent, like seen Infinity War and Endgame, and I kind of want to show it to him. I might even bring him with me when I go over there this weekend, but they're both so long. We have to be to make sure to start them by a certain hour for them to stay awake during them and stuff like that. But WandaVision makes no sense without that one. And I actually think they might even get into Loki as well, because they've been getting into some more experimental sci-fi fantasy TV shows lately. But again, you need to have the movies to set it up. But I want to be able to suggest these shows to my parents for sure. I think the other ones they have planned, or some of them anyway, like She-Hulk and Miss Marvel and stuff, I feel like they might work pretty well as standalone movies. I don't know if you're going to need the other ones. They might link into them in some way, shape, or form, but I assume the focus is going to be on those origin stories and things. I kind of want She-Hulk to be like Law and Order, but with some superhero antics thrown in the mix. I think doing it like a procedural like that could be really cool and different. That is a good mom you have there, Mars. That is the example I use a lot though when I express concern about that kind of thing, is because like there are like, you know, like 14-year-olds that were like the perfect age for Endgame when it came out, but were too young for Iron Man when it came out in 2008. And at that point, if you wanted to have the whole story for the complete context, that was like 20 movies to catch up on. And not everybody's going to do that. And I think that most of the movies are enjoyable enough without those other movies, but without them, they're kind of shallow. Like Endgame, I think had a lot of emotional resonance to it, but the reason it had that was because it had the character development of all the previous movies. And if you haven't seen those, then it just seems like a lot of mindless action, and the deaths mean nothing to you and stuff like that. Like it's like watching the season finale or series finale even of a show that you've never watched before. What are you referring to with the fan service? You mean just like you pick up on the fan service more? It did feel rewarding to watch them all, you mean, or? Okay, yeah, yeah. As in, if you haven't watched the previous ones, you're not it's gonna be kind of lost on you. Gotcha. Does that mean that your mom is a fan, Mars? Nice. Was she a comic book fan before the movies as well? Cool. Oh, okay. Like she doesn't like them or she doesn't read them? Oh, like she's actually tried and just doesn't like them? Couldn't get into them? Okay, it's interesting. Yeah. No, for sure. Both my parents are movie fans. Like I said, they've seen most of the Marvel movies. But those ones are a bit more up to me to kind of bring to them. And that's kind of where we fell behind on a couple of them, which is why my dad still hasn't seen Endgame and stuff. Mainly because I missed the chance to show him Infinity War before Endgame came out, and then he couldn't watch Endgame without seeing Infinity War, and now it's a bigger commitment. When I'm visiting, we gotta watch like 2 pretty long movies if we're gonna do it, you know. And I wouldn't want to show one and then the next one the next time I visit, because I want them to be fresh in their minds. My mom's seen them both, but she'd probably be down to watch them again. She usually is. I don't know if I said this during my Batman stream a while ago, but it was for the 90s Batman movies. That was a tradition every couple of years. It was me and my mom going to see Batman, usually in like the last day of school or something. saw the first one with both my parents, which was a big deal because my dad loves movies, but he's not big on crowds, so he doesn't like going to the theater. But me and mom would always make sure to see the Batman ones as soon as they came out. Nothing ever topped the first one for her though with Jack Nicholson. Where does he get all those toys? Winged freak terrorizes. Will he get a look at me? Not that I'm not enjoying this, but I am excited to be done this because I am sweating so bad right now. Holy shit. I keep wiping my hand off. I don't know if you've been noticing that, but this has been one of the shorter ones. I'm getting close to finish, so I'm not like dying like I sometimes am as far as exhaustion, but fuck am I warm. Yeah, totally. That is probably what I missed the most about the COVID stuff, was getting out to the theater. I don't think it's going to be as bad as the earlier one, though, is it? Or it's not expected to be? Alright, let's do our spot blacks. This is definitely summery. Surf's up vibes from this. Oh yeah, what is the video? Why are you cutting it down so much? Oh really? Are you in Vancouver now, Mars? Where were you before? Oh, a speed build. Okay, gotcha. So you're just editing it down, Mars? You're not like time lapsing it, speeding it up? Okay. And where were you before? Okay. Well, I imagine it was still pretty hot there then. Irony. Oh, wow. I don't know if you remember that like 7-hour stream I did, Mars, when I first started doing this, making that 2-page spread. I sped that up like 4,000 or 5,000%, got it down to like 5 minutes, I think, 5 or 6 minutes. I've heard of Miriam before, yeah. Are you gonna post this video, Mars, or is it just for your own satisfaction? I assume it's you modeling the character, or were you the character? Was that no to Parker or no to me, Mars? About the posting. Or being your own model. Oh, okay, gotcha. I've never met Miriam. I've heard mention of her a couple times. And she gets recommended to me on Facebook a lot because we have so many mutual friends, foundation students that went into 3D. Oops. Why is that, Mars? Gotcha. So hardwood floors, is that why? Or like linoleum or something? Some kind of tile? Okay. Alright guys, I think she's done. So a generic but hopefully cool final girl, having just killed some monster that has shades of Leatherface, Jason, and Freddy Krueger. And that's it for me tonight, guys. Thanks, Billy. Thanks, Mars. So I'll be back next Tuesday, of course, for another fan art one. I alluded to it on Tuesday. I'll give another hint on Monday, but it's another request. Thanks, Parker. Thanks, Mars. Cool. Thank you. And Thursday, I haven't decided yet. I'm either going to do the character design challenge or I'm going to do something else. I'll probably do the character design challenge, but the idea I'm leaning towards I feel like is too simple to do on the stream, and I might want to just do it and then do something else. So we'll see. I see what you did there, Parker. I see what you did. I will definitely color this one for sure. I think it's a fun one. I think. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good night.